Normally you would say an incumbent president will get blamed if this doesn't get fixed. All the polling indicates that the Republicans will get blamed if this doesn't get fixed.
Welcome to News Beast. Happy Monday. We have Bob Shrum in the house. No one better to talk fiscal cliff, high-stakes politics poker playing in Washington, D.C. Boehner and Obama meeting, private one-on-one meeting allegedly yesterday in the White House. What's your crystal ball say about the way this is going, Bob?
Well, they're going to get to an agreement. Or they're going to get to a settlement one way or another. It may not be an agreement. The president holds all the high cards. So if nothing happens, then on January 1st, we go off the fiscal cliff or down the fiscal slope, and the president then proposes to reinstate all the middle-class tax cuts. I don't see any way Republicans can vote against that. That's probably the least good way to do this, but it's why the president holds the high cards. You also have all these other competing scenarios where Republicans say they'll vote present and let the legislation pass that gets rid of the top rate tax cuts. I think the president would like to get a big deal. And in that deal, he'll probably do a couple of things that will make some people in his base unhappy. But it would be good for the country if he got a comprehensive deal. And I think Boehner understands that too, that the Republican Party can't just sit out there forever saying no, 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 no. There's all this talk about the party reinventing itself. And in the midst of that, you have a lot of people from the Wall Street Journal on who are basically sending the Republican Party down what I would regard as a suicidal path.
Well, tell us what you really think.
I mean, it's crazy.
I agree.
The country overwhelmingly wants the top rates raised. It wants this whole question dealt with. And we then have to move on to big issues like immigration and growth. And we get hung up on this for a month or 2 months. It's bad for the country, but it's bad for the Republican Party. You know, one of the things that's really odd about this is normally you would say an incumbent president will get blamed if this doesn't get fixed. All the polling indicates that the Republicans will get blamed if this doesn't get fixed.
Why do you think that is?
I think the president's communicated very clearly what he wants. Wants the top rate tax cuts to go away, so does the country. He's communicated that he's willing to talk about some other issues. And the Republicans just sound like they think those top rate tax cuts are sacrosanct.
Now, John Boehner's the man in the middle here, and he is getting squeezed. He's getting attacked for simply offering $800 million in revenue. Americans for Prosperity, Koch brothers backed, immediately comes out against him. The Tea Party caucus, very angry about this. Some grumblings that maybe he should not be reelected speaker if this goes forward. The president is offering, at least according to reports, negotiations, and he did in August 2011, the grand bargain, some entitlement reforms, raising the Medicare eligibility age from 65 to 67. The speaker seems to be returning to this changed CPI approach for Social Security. If the president gives on those, that's being dismissed out of hand by folks like the Wall Street Journal editorial board as token, as really nothing. Is that a significant concession for the president to make in pursuit of a deal, and will he get some flack from the left for it?
Sure, he'll get flack if he does that. First of all, it's not clear to me that if you raise the Medicare eligibility age, you end up saving any money. All those folks have to go into Obamacare. Obamacare is not a single-payer system, and it's much more expensive than Medicare is. It's almost as if there's something at the heart of the Republican Party that yearns to cut Medicare. They were largely opposed to it in the 1960s. And the same thing about Social Security. I don't think the president's going to do any deal on Social Security in this. I think he's going to say, let's put that off for another time. Social Security is sound for decades to come. We don't need to do this right now. Let's address the things that we need to address. But yeah, the president would get some flack, and he is going to, I think he is probably going to make a couple of concessions in this that will not sit well with everybody in the Democratic Party. But he'll get it through. And, you know, it's the nature of politics and the nature of governing.
So this isn't a grand bargain. You're saying this is a medium bargain and maybe something more ambitious in the year ahead.
Well, the president wants a grand bargain. And, you know, he's put out there on the table the outlines of what he thinks is a grand bargain. The Republicans dismiss it out of hand. Sometimes I think when I listen, not to Boehner, you know, he has to make noises to keep his base happy, but to some of these other folks, I think they were asleep on November 6th. They don't know what happened. The country gave a pretty unequivocal verdict, and the president, that constrains the president too, by the way.
Sure.
he can't agree to some of the stuff the Republicans want. And yet, the other thing I suspect isn't true is all this speculation we're reading from everybody in the papers about what the design of the ultimate solution will be. 37% top rate instead of a 39.6% top rate. I don't see why the president would give on that. He wins on it December 31st at midnight. Markets are roiled. Congress has to come back. President says this is what we need to do. And Republicans at that point have to decide in the House whether or not they want to become the party that crashed the economy. They got enough on their plate right now, trying to figure out how to redefine themselves and recast themselves for the country. I don't think they want to be blamed for that.
Bob Shrum at Newsbeast. There is no better Democratic Party Mandarin to talk to get a read of the tea leaves, my friend.
Thank you
for coming by, Newsbeast. We will see you tomorrow.